Suravara-varshini Durdhara-dharshini Durmukha-marshini Harsharate Tribhuvana-poshini Sankana-toshini Kilbisha-moshini Dhosharate Dhanujani-roshini Ditta-sutta-roshini Durmada-shoshini Sindhu-sute Jaya Jaya Hey Mahiṣāsura-Mardini Rāja-yoga Suśupti. Namaste. Okay, we're going to continue with verse 9 of Mahiṣāsura-Mardini Stotra. Sura-lalana tatatehi tatehi kritabhinayodara nrityarate Krita kukuta kukuto ganada dikatala kutuhala gana rate. Dudukuta dukuta ding dimita dvani dhira mridanga ninada rate. Jaya Jaya Hey Mahiṣāsura-Mardini Rāja-yoga Suśupti. Salutations to you, O Divine Mother. I invoke you, following the rhythm of whose great battle the celestial dancers dance the rhythm of ta-ta-tei, ta-tei, expressing the sentiment of the battle with their dramatic acts. Following the rhythm of whose great battle the celestial musicians create music capturing the tense eagerness of the battle with the talas, musical rhythms like ku-kuta, ga-da-da, ga-da-da. Following the rhythm of whose great battle, a steady, deep sound of du-du-kuta, ding-dimi is played in the background on the mridangam. Victory to you, victory to you. I take refuge in your auspicious feet, O destroyer of the demon Mahiṣāsura, who shines with beautiful locks of hair, the daughter of the mountain. You see why I love this? The Sanskrit, the poetry, the alliteration, the poetic sounds of the mridangam and the talams are just expressed so nicely. And the rhythm of this meter, Sanskrit meter, is just incomparable. I mean, it's not found anywhere else that I know of. So we have to understand that she is the most beautiful. She is consciousness itself. She is the force that creates the universe, the Shakti. So just like my name, Adi Shakti. Adi means the original. Shakti means the power. And of course, that is consciousness. So she goes into these battles, you know, for fun. This is just fun for her. She enjoys it because she always wins. You know, battles are very nice when you win. But the thing is, as consciousness, she penetrates and dismantles all kinds of fabrications. And that especially includes the demons. Because being a demon is just a pose, you know. It's just a false identity. And like any identity in the material world, it's just temporary. And it ultimately has to pass away under the watch of consciousness. Consciousness is the witness. Consciousness is also the force. So now we can understand why she always wins her battles. Because as consciousness, she is the primordial force underlying all existence. Verse 10. Jaya Jaya Japya Jaya Jaya Shabda Parastuti Tat Paravishvanute Jana Jana Jin Jimi Jin Krita Nupura Sinjita Mohita Bhuta Pate Natita Natardha Nati Natanayaka Natita Natya Sugana Rate Jaya Jaya Hey Mahiṣāsura-Mardini Rāja-yoga Suśupti. Salutations to you, O Divine Mother. I invoke you, who are praised by the whole world, for whom they mutter victory prayers before the battle, shout victory shouts after the battle, which is then followed by singing her stutis, eulogies, whose anklets, jingling with the sound jana jana, captivate Lord Shiva, the Lord of the ghosts and goblins, who dances as half of the body of Lord Shiva, where the male and female dancers, having a single body, are the hero of the cosmic play, which is taking place along with the divine sound of nada. Victory to you, victory to you. I take refuge in your auspicious feet, O destroyer of the demon Mahiṣāsura, who shines with beautiful locks of hair, the daughter of the mountain. So she is praised by the whole world. Everybody loves consciousness. Everyone will struggle to maintain consciousness. No one wants to lose consciousness. Everyone wants their consciousness to be filled with pleasant objects, isn't it? And she is the most beautiful object. So we can understand that when someone praises her, when someone worships her, that person has reached the pinnacle of understanding. They have reached the maturity of bhakti. They have reached actually the end of the path of self-realization. I mean, they may attain self-realization in this life or the next life, but they're very, very close to the end, because once someone gets her blessing, then self-realization happens spontaneously. This is what I'm trying to tell people, that it's not about knowledge. It's not about doing some form of meditation or some technique, some speculative form of knowledge where you look at things a certain way and you become self-realized. No, it's not it. That's not it at all. Self-realization happens when you please the goddess. She is Maya. She is the illusion. She is the reason we are trapped in these bodies. The reason we see ourselves as limited beings is because of her illusions. So she is also the only one who can set us free. Try to understand. If there is any liberation, if there is any moksha, if there is any actual pleasure in life, it comes from her. So our aim in spiritual life should be first to please her. And then we find that the higher stages of meditation and samadhi and eventually enlightenment and moksha, freedom from rebirth, come automatically without having to do anything. That's the whole point of my teaching. Verse 11. Ai sumana, 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 sumano harakanti yute. Shrita rajani, 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 karavaktra vrite. Sunayana vibramara, brahmara, 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 brahmara dipate. Jaya Jaya He Mahis-sura-Mardini Ramyakapardini Shaila Sute. Salutations to you, O Divine Mother. I invoke you, whose beautiful mind is united with a charming appearance, whose beautiful face makes subservient the beauty of the night's moonlight by hiding it with its own beauty, whose beautiful eyes conquer the beauty of the bees by their own beauty. Victory to you, victory to you. I take refuge in your auspicious feet, O destroyer of the demon Mahiṣāsura, who shines with beautiful locks of hair, the daughter of the mountain. So here's some very clever Sanskrit poetry, which is based on the fact that the word roots in Sanskrit have multiple meanings. So for example, Brahmara can be a mistake an error, a fault, but it can also be a B, depending on how one interprets the roots. So here, a very, very clever use is made of these multiple root meanings to make extremely pleasing and beautiful poetry. She is so beautiful. For example, her voice is so beautiful that when she's extolling Lord Shiva, that Saraswati, the goddess of music, feels embarrassed because her voice is so musical and beautiful. She just kind of wraps up her veena and puts it in the case very quietly. So her voice is beautiful, her face is beautiful, everything about her is beautiful. She is the source of all beauty. And one who worships her and becomes close to her also becomes beautiful, because she is also the source of love. Love is the most beautiful thing. So by connecting with her, we connect with the ultimate source of unlimited cosmic love, the ocean of bhakti. And this is the most pleasing thing of all. Verse 12. Sahita mahahava malla matallika mallitarallaka mallarate virachita vallika pallika mallika jhillika bhillika varga vrite shita krita phulla samulla sitaruna talla japalla vasallalite Jaya Jaya He Mahiṣāsura-Mardini Ramya Kapardini Shaila Sute. Salutations to you, O Divine Mother. I invoke you who are accompanied in the great battle against excellent wrestlers, fighters, by girls who appear tender like jasmine fighting against the enemies, whose accompaniment is composed of girls from the Bhil tribe who are tender like creepers of jasmine and buzz like swarms of bees, on whose face plays a smile created by joy, which appears like dawn, shining forth with red color and blossoming the excellent buds of flowers. Victory to you, victory to you. I take refuge in your auspicious feet, O destroyer of the demon Mahiṣāsura, who shines with beautiful locks of hair, the daughter of the mountain. So here's another excellent, very pleasing example of alliteration and wordplay. These ornaments, literary ornaments like alliteration, are called alankar. Alankar means like an ornament, a jewelry or a bracelet or a necklace or some kind of ornament, like earrings or a nose piercing or something, that beautifies, is supposed to beautify the person who wears it. But in her case, the ornaments, it's too much bliss. The ornaments get their beauty from her. So the ornaments are only superficial. Even though they're very beautiful, the main point is the source of the beauty, which is her. So she is not alone. She is accompanied by thousands and millions of subordinate Shaktis. And these Shaktis are everywhere and in everything. And they do only her will. They are the laws of nature. They are the forces of nature. So they cannot be overcome by any amount of mundane science or academic speculation. So many people have tried to come up with a way of teaching spiritual life that's different from the scriptures. They want some personal credit. They have some lust for knowledge. They want to show off. They want to show how smart they are and how they can explain the Vedic truths in a very clever way that nobody has ever done before. But you know, what happens to these efforts is that they're a complete failure. Why is that? Because her plan is to put the Vedas at the center of human society, and that everything in human society should refer to and be supported by, and should also defend and support the Vedas. Because the Vedic literatures are the original source of knowledge for all human society. Not only human beings, even the demigods, even the devas go by the Vedas. Even the demons follow the Vedas. They just reject the parts that they don't like. Like about worshiping God and goddess. They don't like that. They want to be worshipped. So they come up with all kinds of speculative ideas and different kinds of nonsense teachings. But it all comes to naught in the end. One example is Ken Wilber. Remember Ken Wilber? Most of you who are younger than me probably won't. But he was a big deal back in the 80s and 90s. He got a lot of PR. He had come up with this way of understanding consciousness or something or other that was completely speculative, you know, just his own invention. And he got all kinds of publicity. People made a big deal out of it. But then what happened? Nothing ever came of it. It just sort of drifted away like a fading flower in the sun. Nothing ever, it was no substantial result at all. So we can understand that anyone who simply speculates rather than going to the Vedas. See, the Vedas are the eternal knowledge that is always ever fresh. There is never any lack, insufficiency, or mistake in the Vedic knowledge. Now, we may not understand it properly, but that's a different issue. The Vedas are perfect because they're written by the sages, and the sages have realized the absolute. Aum Tat Sat. Aum Shakti Aum.